Hi, everybody. Hello. Good to see you. There you go. We just get a little tight.
Crossing.
Can you guys look at it right here, please? Thanks. There you go. Hey, how you doing? Good.
Right in the center, guys.
Straight ahead. And then down below here for me, guys.
Where?
Right here, way down here. Very good. Thank you.
That's good.
Okay, let's begin. Homework.
How is this going to work? Somebody's going to start.
You just introduce.
What?
Just introduce.
Because we've never done this before, have we? 40 years later. This is Richie Faulkner, ladies and gentlemen. Without him, we wouldn't be sitting at this table right now. Quite probably, which is the fact, yeah. And you know the rest of us, don't you? So, it's a pretty much an open forum. We're about to launch the world tour, so that might be a good place to start, and we'll just take it from there and see where we go.
Charles Monday. So this upcoming world tour has been billed as the final world tour. Oh, though clearly you're still an active band. Could you clarify?
Well, it's not the end of the band by any means. It's you know, it is our last world tour. It takes a big chunk out of it, like 18 months really. We'll be out there. We've been doing it for nearly 40 years now. But it's not to say that, you know, it will be our last show, and we certainly will and have been recording. So, you know, the chances are that there'll be albums as well next year. And, you know, we would never turn down the appropriate dates if we were offered them at some point in the future. But it will be our last world tour. It's probably the last chance that most people will get to see Judas Priest live. We want to go out one final time and play our songs, just be together with the audience.
I think what we've said is, you know, on the cowboy rides into the sunset on his horse, and it looks really cool. Well, we want to do the same things on our bikes, you know, on the motorbikes, but we don't want to fall off. You know, I think unfortunately there's kind of there's an area in show business when you really need to look at what you've got, what you've done, be proud of it, and then just make that exit in a really classy way, and that's what we're attempting to do.
Okay. You've been working on material for the new Priest record. What can we expect, you know, on the record? And what era do you think it's going to be most like, this new material?
Well, it's quite a mixed bag, and we've concentrated on two things: the archetypal Priest double-kicked screaming tracks, and really there's more sentiment in this album. In a way, I suppose it's also a farewell album, although it might not be our last one. And there are some anthems on there which pay tribute to our fans, and it's our way of saying thank you, and the lyrics relate to that. Just saying thank you to the fans for all the years.
So it's been a real pleasure to write it, because, you know, at this point, you know, if there's anything left to prove, there really isn't anything left to prove. You know, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the thing. But I think what really is important is that we still have this desire, this passion. You know, it hasn't diminished in nearly 40 years. We still have this tremendous love of what we do in heavy metal music, and the fans that support us, the constant inspiration. And I think we all agreed that as much as we were very happy with the way that Nostradamus came out, that was a great moment for us, because we've been waiting forever to make this concept record, and that's not the end with Nostradamus. We have other ideas we want to explore later, but We wanted to make at least, as Glenn said, one more great metal album that really has all the great traditions and attributes of Priest in the music, and we think we've got that down pretty much.
All right. You guys are releasing single cuts, which is the first collection of all of your UK singles. Looking back, is there an era that you like best?
Wow. They're all special, aren't they? I mean, I don't know if everybody in this room lived through the 70s, then the 80s, and then the 90s, and now we're already 2011. It just seems too crazy to contemplate. I think each decade was special. I suppose to some extent the first one, because that's when we became professional musicians. You know, when you hold that bit of that vinyl as it was, you know, you get one final record each. And you look at it, you go, we've made a record, you know anything could happen now, because you know that recording potentially can very, very slowly, you know, before the internet, before cell phones, before whatever, will very, very slowly filter through the system, and the word is out, you know, Judas Priest is here, they've made a professional recording. So, 70s is a time that I think we all look back at with some affection as well, because you know, there's so many things to do and so many things to achieve, and it's a really, really potent time to kick the ball and get the game going.
Awesome. So Priest's influence on metal goes so deep. I mean, when you hear or see younger bands incorporating things you guys helped create, you know, how does that make you feel?
It makes us feel proud, you know, if we in our own small way have helped to shape the way metal's gone, and we've inspired people along the way. It's something that we're all really proud of, you know, as individual musicians and as a band. I think that we all feel proud that we've inspired the young generation to go forth and, you know, write great songs and play great metal. When we've always done the Blackwood metal, as you know, I mean, we've always been proud to be a heavy metal band, and I think some bands, you know, they felt the tag was a little bit unfashionable at times, and they do that, but we've always been true to that. We always kept the faith.
Okay, this one's specifically for Ian. I'm curious to know, if you had to pick 3 songs that you either never played or rarely played live, but would like to, which songs would they be?
We've never played live.
I'm glad you asked Ian that question.
Yeah, which one? I don't know. I think all the favourite songs we sort of all played at one time or another over the years. There's so many songs to choose from that we haven't played, I suppose. Yeah, there's obviously the first album. Didn't get a great deal of exposure to all, really. We're doing the track off that.
No, we say anything about what we're going to play, because we all on the internet after the first show anyway. But it's an exciting set list, and we are going to be playing some songs that we've never ever played before.
There's some great production pieces, you know, songs like Fever, things like that, you know, it'd be great to do live. So trying to pick 3 out of hundreds, I don't know, you know, it's nothing to do.
Glenn, can you talk a little bit about what it's like playing with Richie, doing the Priest songs versus, you know, what KK brought to those songs, and how does it feel different, and what does Richie bring?
I think it's amazing, really, because obviously, you know, when Ken informed us he was leaving, we had to think long and hard. We had 2 choices: we either carry on and we do the farewell tour, which is what we wanted, and what we wanted the fans. We think what the fans wanted. Or we could have ended the band. So, you know, obviously we had to find the right guy, and we honestly couldn't have found any better than this guy. I mean, you don't even go to hear him play, you know, he's a tremendous guitar player, but the most amazing thing is he satisfies everybody needs for how Priest should sound in his role, you know, on the other side of the stage, if you like. But he does it in his own way, and it's pretty unbelievable the way he blended into the band straight away. And as Rob said earlier on, honestly, if we hadn't found Richie, I don't think we'd be going out now. So it's just worked out really, really well for us.
Richie, can you talk a little bit about what it's like being in Judas Priest and kind of having to fill KK's shoes? I know online, you know, I see you doing these rhythms and Zeppelin and Hendrix solos. I mean, is that kind of where you came from? Are those the elements that you bring to?
I came from obviously that sort of area, yeah, like, you know, classic rock, Zeppelin, Hendrix, and all that. And I think, you know, KK's playing was like Hendrix inspired as well, you know, so that's kind of similar there. What it feels like to be a part of it, I mean, you can imagine it's a bit kind of surreal, really, you know. But it's very well. As a fan of the band and of the genre, you know, they are big shoes to fill, but I know what I've got to do, and I'm not trying to, what's the word? You know, Ken was in the band for a long time, you know, so I'm not trying to, you know, take over anything from that, take away anything from that. But as a fan and as part of the band now, you know, it's exciting. It's exciting as a guitar player and as a musician, you know.
I mean, was it difficult, I mean, learning some of the Priest songs? I mean, they're not the easiest songs in the world.
I knew some of them already, to be honest. You know, and it's kind of where I come from, musically. So it wasn't difficult in the sense, you know, that's what I've been brought up on, that's what I've been raised on. And the ones I didn't know, it was quite easy to go in, you know.
I said to Richie, come up, I said, and come up to the house, and, you know, if you get stuck on any bits, I'll help you. He's showing me bits in there. You know, songs I haven't played for 35 years ago, Richie got them down. I said, how's that going in here? So, it was great.
Have you guys written any new material together?
We haven't yet, no. But it's, you know, it's really early days. We're still in the process of rehearsing, and that's taking up all our time. And then we've had to come over here for something. But I'm sure we're all right. And when you hear Richie mess around, I know he'll inspire us, and I'm sure we'll collaborate and compose together.
So from this point on, Richie will be, if there's new Priest music, Richie will be the guitar player that's playing on it, not KK.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the way to do it. Yes.
What do you guys think about Anthrax naming one of their new songs Judas Priest?
They did? When did they do that?
Well, that's what I read. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I don't know if you guys knew about that. But apparently Anthrax is paying a tribute to you guys with the song called Judas Priest on their new album.
Right, you've got Lady Gaga with Judas on one side. That's great. I mean, when anybody does anything like that, in that way, if this is how, you know, we know the guys from Anthrax forever. If it is, you know, in that way, they're kind of acknowledgement. It's fabulous. Like Glenn said earlier, I mean, you're kind of passing the torch from band to band. And when we were growing up, we had our heroes and people that we were excited to listen to and go and see a live concert, and you just keep passing it on and passing it on. So that's really cool. I shall have to text Scott later on.
Rob, were you shocked when KK decided to leave the band?
Every one of us was shocked, yes. It was a very, very big deal, a very big surprise, you know. Yeah.
And did any of you try to convince him not to leave?
We did everything we could possibly do, yeah. I mean, this wasn't a simple open and closed type of situation. Everybody worked very hard to try and get to some kind of resolution, but we knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. That's when we almost went into panic mode, because we had a tour looming, you know, the tour was already coming together, and we got the deals of the promoters, the fans were excited, and then, you know, the guy, what a great, oh my God, you know, because it was very, very difficult to try and deal with both circumstances, but, you know, it's just that British way, stay calm, keep moving on, and we were able to do that.
What kind of confusion do you feel that Richie has brought to Judas Priest?
Youth.
I worked a lot harder in rehearsals than I've ever done, because I know this guy loves this band, you know, and we hate rehearsing, don't we? You hate rehearsing, but we have to do it. And I think there's an element of just tremendous enthusiasm, as there always has been in the band, but especially now, as I say, there's a great feeling of energy and excitement that we can go on and complete this world tour, deliver a new record, and keep the Priest alive.
Now, if you do a new album, will your album also be called Epitaph?
it's kind of up in the air. We have some titles that we're knocking around at the moment. Really, I don't think it would be right to say it's called this and then change it. You know, the material will kind of filter through, and then we'll eventually come to a definitive title for the record. You know.
To the band, keeping in mind the economy, and you know, you have bands like ZZ Top going out, and they're offering tickets for like $20 and maxing out at $75. Will you be doing anything like that on the tour, keeping in mind the band's budgets?
We don't get involved in any of that whatsoever. We're very aware that we want to make sure that we give the fans the best possible deal. You know, I mean, we know how much it costs to keep Judas Priest on the road 7 days a week, and it's an enormous amount of money. We've got bills to pay. But we leave that to the management and the promoters and everybody. All we really want to do is get out there and play.
You guys have anybody you want to take out on this farewell tour? Everybody checking out younger, up and coming bands. Is there any bands you guys want to take out?
Have we committed yet?
Yeah.
Have we committed? With Zach? With Zach and with Lizzie. So that's it. It's Zach Wild and Black Label and this great limousine. So we had a really exciting kind of mini festival thing with the Monsters. What was it called? Monsters of Metal.
Metal Masters. Metal Masters.
Too much metal. We couldn't replicate that again, but there were some great elements musically in the lineup, and I think we were able to do that with this lineup. It's 3 very exciting bands with powerful songs to play.
What keeps you guys hungry? I mean, you guys have been at it for so long, and so many bands that came out around the era, that you guys originated, What makes you guys want to go out and
something we still love to do, We love playing our music, we love the people we play it to, we love the travelling, the places to go, things to see, and it can be lucrative at times, so what is there not to love about it? I don't think you really need any more incentive than that.
You've really got to want to do this. When you leave your house and lock the door, you know you're not going to come back for 18 months to 2 years, literally. You really want to get out there and do your work, and as we said earlier, that love and passion for it hasn't diminished. It always comes back to the fans, These wonderful fans that have supported us for so many years, they're waiting for us to come back and play. So
you have a whole new generation waiting for you. My 8- and 9-year-old grandsons love you.
See, there you go. That never even enters your mind when you start playing it, and to go this far and to still be able to see your music crossing over to a new metal generation, that's just sensational. When there is so much to choose from now, it's like a metal feast out there, and so when these young metalheads choose you, that's a terrific compliment, and it's just a great feeling. It definitely keeps you motivated. As we said before, you look out from the stage and you see, 3 or 4 different generations coming to see you play, and that in itself is a real kick, keeps you motivated.
Your music is timeless.
It is, absolutely.
Rob, when do you guys start recording a new record?
We've done a little bit already, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got we've mixed 3 tracks, which we might put on our webpage, because, as I say, some of the songs are a tribute to the fans, and a big thank you to the fans for over the years. And so we might do that. We haven't really decided whether we'll prematurely release them or not. But that's one of the suggestions.
You might have to stop touring in order to record the record, and then.
Well, we've got some breaks, so we've got I think we've done about 10 songs, but they're not finished. 3 of them are mixed. The rest need a fair amount of work, and of course we haven't done any collaboration with Richie yet. So it's early days, but there will be an album at some point, and we just need time to finish it really. And that depends on the touring schedule now, how heavy that is, how many breaks we've got. Because even if you get a break, if you've been on the road for 2 or 3 months playing every night, you probably don't feel like going in the studio. It would be your most productive time, really. Sometimes you need to walk away from music for a little bit to get to clear the brain. So. But at some point next year, I'm confident that we'll release an album.
Richie, you got to lay down any guitar tracks, right?
Not yet. No.
Do you guys love the road, or is it a necessary evil for Judas Priest?
I love the stage. I love to be on stage. I mean, the road, can be airports, all sorts of security problems these days, and a lot of dead time. So, that's the downside of touring, really.
Well, the reason I ask is because you are doing a farewell tour, so I'm wondering what the reason is behind wanting to just call it quits as far as being on the road.
Well, I think we've explained that we still plan to do shows in the future. It's just that, if you look at this tour that we're about to do, it's the same kind of intensity that we were doing 30, 35 years ago. That's what I love about this band, we haven't kind of really pulled back in any respect. It's time to go on the road and do some work. And we're all in pretty good nick, as we say. But I think it is important that we just want to maintain that certain quality that I think it could become a little bit, dangerous. Just speaking for myself as a singer, my voice is still strong and I can do what I need to do. But it's quite challenging now as I head towards 60 this year. To do what I need to do at this time in my life is not as easy as it was. So, just looking, I think we've all probably got different messages in that respect. So I think this is a great way of taking care of business and doing it well and doing it right.
This is your solo farewell tour, but do you guys have any problems or what about doing Mayhem or Uproar next year? One of these big package events that you influence all these bands. Is you got an open mind as far as doing that in the future?
Yeah, I think we've always done an open mind, and we look at everything that's put on the table. The Big Four thing is sensational. We have another idea of the Big Four, Big Five. Whether that would happen, I don't know. It would be great.
If it was a Big Four in your era and in your genre, who would it be?
It would have to be Sabbath.
It would have to be Sabbath. It'd probably be made, obviously. We'd get Robert Plant in the bar and get him drunk. Get all together. How big is that? Is that big enough? Yeah. Just put that in Wembley Stadium in London for a week, 80,000 people a night.
Richie, how and when did you get your first exposure to Judas Priest? Is there a story?
I think it was around the Painkiller sort of era. And then since then I've been in various, cover bands, growing up around London and stuff, and we always played Priest songs, you know what I mean? So I was probably around 15, 16, something like that. And I kind of came in listening to Painkiller and then worked my way back through, finding different songs through the back catalogue. So, and I'm still finding out new songs now, really,
Favorite album?
Oh man. For different reasons. I like Turbo. Yeah. I like Stained Glass. And Painkiller. I think they're my favourite three.
Richie, is there any specific songs you're looking forward to playing with Glenn?
That's a tough one as well. Painkiller, because it's great to actually play from a rhythm point of view, a rhythm guitar point of view, and back up someone like Glenn.
I think it would be tough too, with style on the drums.
Again, it's great locking in with him. No one plays that way either. So, from a rhythm guitar point of view, it's great to be sort of backing up him and playing with Scott at the same time, rather than from a point of the lead player just moving over it. So,
as another rhythm guitar player, it's great to back Richie solos as well, because he's an exciting player. Right?
Rob, you guys never got to present the Nostradamus album on tour. You did just one song, so do you regret that? Because you never got the time to do it.
Yeah, I think as we said when we launched Nostradamus, there's always been this great desire to perform it in its entirety, and